Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me for this edition of Telling Our Story in Prince George's County. I'm your host, Council Chair Andrea Harrison. I'm excited about my guest for this edition. Please don't go away. Prince George's County Executive, the Honorable Rushern Baker III, joins us on Telling Our Story in Prince George's County. Stay tuned. We'll return in just a moment.
Come on. How you feel? How you feel?
I'm feeling good. Spin me.
Got you.
Oh, goodness.
Welcome to Telling Our Story in Prince George's County, a production of the Prince George's County Council. Our story is about caring people and vibrant communities, our children, youth, and families, our great opportunities for culture, and our rich history. A wonderful place to visit, featuring our past, present, and a future full of promise. This is Telling Our Story in Prince George's County. Insight, knowledge, and perspective on the things that matter to us all, with your host, Council Chair Andrea C. Harrison.
Hello and welcome to Telling Our Story in Prince George's County. This program is a production of the Prince George's County Council. I'm your host, Council Chair Andrea Harrison. Telling Our Story in Prince George's County offers a unique opportunity for us to come together and share some of the great stories taking place in our communities. I believe our success as a county depends in part on our ability to tell our own story, and that's why we're here today. It is my privilege to introduce my guest, Prince George's County Executive Rushern Baker III. The Baker administration has been very busy, and I know you have some great stories to tell about our progress and our plans for the future. I'm honored to welcome you to Telling Our Story in Prince George's County. Welcome, sir.
Madam Chair, it's good to be here.
Good. Listen, it's been almost 18 months since you became the county executive for Prince George's County. What are your top 3 accomplishments that you want to share with our viewers?
Wow. First of all, it's a great privilege, as you know, to serve the people of Prince George's County and to be county executive. I think the top 3 things that we've done in the 18 months since I've taken over as county executive, I think one was to begin to make sure that the Washington region and Maryland understands that Prince George's County is going to be a major player, especially an economic player. You know, because the council passed the EDI fund, our Economic Development Incentive Fund, which is $50 million that we're putting out there to jumpstart the economic development in Prince George's County. The other major accomplishment was signing an MOU to build not just a hospital, but a regional healthcare facility, which means that Prince George's County will be a major player in delivering quality healthcare and access to healthcare in this region. And I think the third thing, and actually I'll stick a 4th on there if I can. I think the third thing, and one of the things I'm really excited about is, I talked about education being a priority of the county. I also made the commitment, and I didn't realize how many schools we had when I made this commitment, that I would visit a school a week to make sure that people understood that education is on my mind every single day. And then finally, I'm proud of our public safety departments, especially our police, fire, corrections, state's attorney, and sheriff's office for helping us bring down crime in Prince George's County to an all-time low. They did a lot of hard work. So a lot of things, a lot of good stuff that we did together to move this county forward.
Great. You mentioned economic development first, and the Washington Business Journal and the Prince George's Suite magazine both published articles about your vision for economic development. So would you just share with our viewers your vision and explain why economic development is so important to our county?
Well, I think it's really important to us in Prince George's County because if you look at the way that we fund the county, as you know, the majority of our funds come from property taxes, residential property taxes. Well, in the county, we've got to diversify that. We need to make sure that we have a substantial and thriving commercial and business base. And part of the EDI fund, or the Economic Development Fund, is to put money into those areas, especially around our metro stations, where we can do transit-oriented development, attract not only federal enclaves to come here and lease space from us, but also for private businesses. So our focus is going to be around putting that money in areas where we can grow jobs and grow the economy of the county.
The General Assembly ended after its 90-day session and then had a special session recently to deal with what's called the Doomsday Budget. And Prince George's County sort of avoided some of the impact of that. Can you give us an update on some of those outcomes as it relates to Prince George's County in this 2012 session?
Well, we're very, very pleased that the governor, through his leadership, called in the presiding officers and called a special session. Because had we gone, as you know, through with the Doomsday Budget, for Prince George's County, that would have meant somewhere around $62 million additional money we would have to come up with. And certainly we don't have that. It also made Wall Street nervous. So one of the things that we're proudest of in Prince George's County is we've got a AAA bond rating of all three major rating houses. That would have been in jeopardy. By going back into session, passing the budget, Prince George's County avoided having to deal with $62 million worth of cuts. Now we are going to get some additional expenses back to us. We're going to have the teacher pension shift a greater portion back to the county, which means for us in the first year we're going to have to pay somewhere around $4 million for that shift, and it will increase in the out years. But by passing the budget, we were able to get offsets from the state. We were able to get infrastructure money, transportation money. We were able to get money for our schools, which was most important. And so I think by having our members of the delegation go back in there, by the leadership that you showed throughout the General Assembly meeting every Monday night, I'm not sure if your viewers know that, but after council session, you were down there with me, and we were lobbying to make sure Prince George's County was kept whole. And those efforts paid off, and we have a budget that's passed.
You know, you mentioned the AAA bond rate, and I just want to put a side note in right here. Would you just take a moment to explain to the viewers what does that mean? Because we hear that all the time, and we throw it around being in the roles that we are, but the average person may not really understand what that means. So would you just explain what it means to have a AAA bond rating?
It's like having good credit. That's really what it is. Anybody who knows out there, for our viewers, having good credit enables you to borrow money to do good stuff, whether it's buy a home, buy a car, pay for your children to go to college. Well, the county's much the same way. That AAA bond rating says to the business community, here's a good place to do business. Here's a place where they are fiscally prudent and they know how to handle their money. And I'm proud because even with the tax cap, we're one of the few jurisdictions that was able to get all three rating houses there. It means there's some good stuff we can do in the future.
Can we share with our viewers who we're competing with, or who else in this region has a AAA bond rating?
Well, Montgomery County has a AAA bond rating, Howard County, and Fairfax and Arlington have AAA bond ratings. So those are our competitors. And for us, the one thing we do have over them, now that we have AAA bond rating and we have metro stations that can be developed, so that transit-oriented development you always hear the president talk about, we're the place that's sitting on that gold mine.
Absolutely. That's part of telling our story. We are actually about to adopt a budget here in Prince George's County. We talked about the budget in Annapolis. Most of our viewers know that we had to close a $126 million deficit. What should the viewers know about the budget that was developed by you this year, and what are your priorities? And what do you think our budgets will look like over the next 5 years?
Well, once again, and I want to commend you on your leadership at the council level. It is not easy dealing with the budget in these times, much like our viewers at home. These are troubling times in financially. $126 million budget gap that we had to close this year. Last year was $77 million. Much like last year, I asked each of the agencies to take a 5% cut while delivering the same quality of service and, in fact, increasing the quality of service they give to Prince Georgians. The two places we did not ask to cut were education, where we're going to put $21 million additional money for our schools because we need to be competitive in our education. That's our calling card. And public safety. You know, our men and women who put their lives on the line every day while we aren't able to give them all that they need. We certainly want to make sure, one, that we have 150 new recruits for our police, 50 new recruits for our fire department. Corrections going to get new officers. Two places that have been woefully understaffed. One is our sheriff's department. Sheriff High is doing a terrific job, but he needs more people out there to close that warrant gap, so we're going to give him some help. And our state's attorney, who does a fabulous job with which one of the lowest numbers of assistant state's attorneys in this region. She handles just as many cases as Baltimore City, but she has fewer assistant state's attorneys, so we're going to give her some more. But pretty much everyone took a 5% cut. We held the line on a lot of the spending we like to do, and but we kept our priorities: public safety and education and delivering service.
During the General Assembly session this year, there were a couple of topics that made a lot of headlines. Specifically to Prince George's County was gaming.
No.
Would you just take the opportunity to explain to our viewers why you support that and what the debate in Annapolis is really about?
Well, once again, I mean, it's probably a good time to talk about. When you talk about avoiding the doomsday budget, we do that by closing, making cuts, making hard decisions. But there's another side to it, and that's the revenue side. How do you increase the revenues at the state level, and how do you increase the revenues at the county level? For me, coming to the conclusion that we should, if the state was going to expand gaming to a sixth site, that the site should be in Prince George's County, was a difficult one. I had always opposed gaming when I was in Annapolis, but a couple of things happened that changed my mind. One was there was a vote, statewide referendum, where people voted in favor of bringing gaming and facilities to the state of Maryland. Two, we didn't have a place like National Harbor where you can actually do a resort, an attraction place. And three, the revenues. If you look at what we could generate back to Prince George's County if we put a sixth site at National Harbor, built a high-end destination resort. So it's not just depending on table games or slots, but it's also live entertainment, it's high-end shopping and high-end restaurants. That would bring somewhere around $69 million a year to Prince George's County and millions of dollars to the state, thereby alleviating some of the stuff that the state pushes down to the county. And so for me, when you weighed all the options and the fact that right now there are 5 facilities in the state of Maryland, Prince George's County doesn't get any of that money other than the Education Trust Fund, which is a small portion. But yet a lot of the revenues are generated by Prince Georgians. And so my feeling was, if our folks are going to participate in this, those revenues should come back home, and they should help us deal with some of the real problems we have.
If this were to happen, when would you expect it to occur?
I think there's another special session that's being called. Once again, I commend the governor for his leadership in calling the second special session. It would then have to go on the ballot to referendum. Ultimately, the people decide whether we're going to do this, so they'll vote in November. But if the vote is favorable, then we would be able to implement table games in Prince George's County somewhere around 2014, and then with a full facility in 2016.
You stumped me on that one. And the reason being is because most of our other facilities have taken at least 5 years, the facilities around the state. Once from the vote in 2007 to Anne Arundel County just going online in June of this year, that's about 5 years. Right. Is that real? Is that reality? 2014 and 2016,
Well, I think,
or is that just an ambition, a goal?
It is a goal. It is a goal. We hope that that we can move, and then this is just with table games. It's not with the actual casinos that you see or the slot machines that you see. They're in Arundel Mills or Live. But our hope is that we can get it up and running.
Okay. Well, it's now time for us to take a short break. Please stay with us for more of our conversation with Prince George's County Executive Rushern Baker on telling our story in Prince George's County.
When you earn your GED diploma, the barriers in your life fall. Take the first step and get free GED information in your area at 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or yourged.org. Earn your GED diploma and begin your brighter future.
Welcome back to Telling Our Story in Prince George's County, a production of the Prince George's County Council. I'm Council Chair Andrea Harrison, and I'm your host, and I'm joined today by a very special guest, our County Executive, Rushern Baker. We have been hearing some great stories about the Baker administration and the exciting future of Prince George's County. Thank you again, Mr. Executive, for joining us.
My pleasure, Madam Chair.
In our previous show, we talked a little bit about health care with the President, CEO, and Chief Medical Officer of Dimensions, and we've been hearing so much about that hospital lately. There was a memorandum of understanding, an MOU signed last summer between the state, the county, and the University of Maryland Medical Systems. Can you give us an update on where we are in our regional medical system and what it'll mean to the county and the state?
Yeah, we're very excited about it. I mean, to bring all the parties together and finally get this deal done for Prince George's County is a major accomplishment, and once again, could not have done it without the work that you and your colleagues did before I got this job. But what it means for us is that it means that we're going to build a regional healthcare facility, and like I said, not just a hospital, but it's going to be our ability to combine with the other hospitals that are in Prince George's County. We're bringing in a world-class facility like UMS, the University of Maryland Medical System, to run it. But we'll be working with clinics throughout the county, and that means that people in Prince George's County will have access, full access to quality health care throughout all of the county. But it also means that we'll have office buildings, medical buildings, and medical office buildings there where doctors and restaurants and things can be in this complex. And it will make us a major leader in the Washington region in healthcare, which is what we should be. But things are progressing nicely. We'll go back in at the beginning of 2013 and actually have to make a site selection for where the hospital will be built.
So with that, when do you think we'd be scheduled to break ground, and when do you think it'll be complete?
We're scheduled to break ground if everything goes according to plan, in 2014.
Big things happening in 2014.
It just so happens. I think it's a good year. But break ground in 2014, and then I think they said it would take 3 to 4 years after that to actually be built. But the beauty of the MOU is UMS is working with us right now. And so the quality of healthcare is improving in Prince George's County by daily. But having the commitment of the state to put up its share of the money, the county executive and the council have agreed that the county will put up its share, and UMS has agreed that it would come in. So this is great for us.
That's wonderful news, and it's wonderful for our residents. I'm excited about it. I want to transition a little bit. Speaking of transitions, you recently announced a new initiative, Transforming Neighborhoods. What is the impact? Tell our viewers what it is, and what impact do you hope that it will have on the county?
Well, I think this, for me at least, is the major initiative of the Baker administration, and it's something that we'll do throughout the entire time that I'm county executive. And that is, we looked at 6 areas in the county that are some of our most challenging areas, whether you're talking about health disparities, whether you're talking about dropout of high schools or low test scores, or whether you're talking about lack of economic development opportunities. There are some areas in the county that aren't as up as they should be. And so what we're going to do is focus on those areas from the top down. And that means each one of my deputy county administrators are in charge of one of those 6 areas. They will be able to bring every facet of our Prince George's County government, health, education, public safety, all of them into these areas until we transform them. It just so happens that most of those areas are around metro stations. You know, if you look at the Kentland, Landover area, or the Suitland, Hillcrest Heights area, but these are areas where we think we can bring economic development, where we can turn around disparity and bring the entire county up. And so we're very excited about this initiative, and it's going to tie in with our education piece too.
What are some of the other projects that you're working on that you want our viewers to know about, some other big projects?
Well, one thing I forgot to mention when I was talking about the Transforming Neighborhoods is the fact that you, like I, have been out there running with our police cadets.
Why are you doing
and doing a great job in inspiring the cadets, but we're running in each one of those Transforming Neighborhoods. And so I want to thank you for your leadership in coming out there and inspiring the young cadets who will be patrolling our streets soon.
County stat.
County stat, really important for us, because one of the things we're going to do in the Transforming Neighborhoods is actually stat this. We're going to look at data. It's going to be data driven. So county stats look at each agency and how we can improve it. Same thing with another thing we're launching is our 311, which we're excited about, which will make service for Prince George's County that much better. That means you'll be able to call in a request, but also go online for requests in the county and make service delivery that much better. And that's part of providing an efficient, transparent government.
You mentioned earlier that you visit a school a week and you didn't realize there were as many schools. And you talked about you wanted folks to know that education was important. What have been the outcomes with that? You know,
it's had a better outcome than I expected. I mean, my real reason to do it was I wanted somebody to ask me a question and say, well, why are you here? Shouldn't you be running the county? And I wanted to be able to say, I am. There's nothing more important to the county than making sure our children get a quality education. And the response has been from educators, from principals, from central office staff, and from parents, you know, who will say, I can't believe the county executive is actually coming to our school. But I wanted them to know how important it is, and I wanted the kids to know, just like I know you do the same with your children, I do with mine. I want them to know that I love them. And so I show up unannounced to my children, and I think it's only fitting that I show up unannounced to the children of Prince George's County, too.
We talked about health care, we talked about education, let's talk about public safety. Yeah. What's the good news? The good news is in public safety in each of the arenas, we're doing great. If you look at our police department, crime is down at an all-time low. Chief McGall is doing a great job. You look at our fire department and the response that we're getting out of Chief Bayshore, corrections doing a great job. I talked about our sheriff, who's terrific, and our state's attorney, but also our 911 center. We have something that no other jurisdiction in Maryland has, and that is we're triply accredited. That means, you know, our 911 center has the worldwide accreditation. Only 5 places have it.
and only 2 of those are in the United States. And so that means that we're doing a great job handling emergencies. So I'm very pleased about the progress we're making along the public safety line, and I want to thank especially our DCAO for public safety, Barry Stanton, for doing a great job in coordinating those efforts and working with the council.
Our 911 center is actually a brand new state-of-the-art center.
Yes, it
and
is.
we've taken the privilege of giving it a name, the Fallen First Responders Center, and because we want to let those people who know whose lives are on the line every day that we appreciate them and we want to memorialize them.
That's terrific.
You've been an advocate for incorporating nonprofit and faith-based community into the fold of supplementing government services. Why did you do that? What prompted this strategy?
Well, much like you know, the government can't do everything, and there are certain things we shouldn't do. What we should be is a catalyst, like we're doing with the Economic Development Incentive Fund, the same thing with our nonprofits. So we brought them together for a day-long conference to teach them how to work together, how to get synergies between the nonprofits, and then to teach them or to show them what our priorities are and how they can meet those priorities. And so what we want to do is make sure our nonprofit and faith-based groups out there understand that we need them to fill the gap, and we're going to help them not only grow but help them seek funds.
I'm switching again. I understand congratulations are in order. You've recently been named the most innovative executive. That's by the Maryland Washington Minority Business Contractors Association. Explain this award, and what does it say about you and our county?
Well, it says a lot about our county. I don't know what it says about me, but it does. It recognizes the fact that we were able to not only get a county stat up and running, but we were also able to get the $50 million Economic Development Incentive Fund, which no one has out there, and that we're doing things to make contracting and business in the county more transparent, and we're doing it in an efficient way. And so that says a lot about Prince George's County.
At the onset of your administration, you talked about taking our county from good to great. Where are we on the path to greatness?
I like that, on the path to greatness. I think we're moving exactly where we should be moving. I'm excited about Prince George's County. This is a great county. I am blessed to have this job. We're making good things happen. If you look at what has happened in the last 18 months, who would have thought? Just think about what we came through: a hurricane, an earthquake, a snowstorm, 100-year flood. That's right, 7 fires in one day, 100-year flood. And you look at Prince George's County now, and the fact that people look to us as a leader in this region, and it's only going to get better.
Yes. Graduations are upon us.
Yes, they are.
And I understand that you and your family have some graduations this month. You want to share with us about these important events and what it means to your family?
It means a lot. I am so happy. My baby is graduating from Suitland. I'm embarrassing her right now, but from Suitland High School. The last of our 3 children to come out of here. And my son just got his master's, a Suitland grad, and just got his master's in fine arts from Yale. So yeah, we're very excited.
Fine arts in Yale. So your daughter, has she selected her college and what she wants to do? Not that we're trying to know all of your business, but
yes, we're very proud of her, and it says a lot about Prince George's County School, if I could for a second, and that is she's going to Cooper Union in New York, a small school, on a full scholarship, a school that my wife and I didn't know about. But she's going to study art. But it was our Prince George's County schools that allowed my 3 children to get a quality education. 2 went on full scholarships. I've got 1 in St. Mary's on partial scholarship. But all of that work really was done by our school system and the men and women who teach our children and help them.
Well, great. That's wonderful. Folks know that you are actively engaged in our school system. You have your children there. They all came through there. So I think everyone understands just how much you're invested in this county and in the education. Well, this brings us to the end of our edition of Telling Our Story in Prince George's County. A very informative discussion with County Executive Rushern Baker III. Thank you again, sir, for taking the time to speak with me and our viewers. My colleagues and I appreciate your partnership, and we look forward to continuing our work together on behalf of the citizens of this great county. Thanks to our viewers for tuning in. Telling Our Story in Prince George's County is a production of the Prince George's County Council. I'm Council Chair Andrea Harrison, and I am telling our story in Prince George's County.